Are you getting the same results in your business over and over and over and over again? If you are, I know exactly what it feels like, because it's very predictable and consistent and safe. But the problem is that you know that there's more inside of you. You know that more impact can be made, and you know more growth can happen, and you desire to have a larger, bigger result. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that is, in my opinion, the greatest journey of personal development, is having a huge goal and becoming the person that can reach it. So for the last 3 years in our business, The Guide Culture, we create world-class sales girls. We've had about the same result, about $1.5 million 3 years in a row, between 1 and 1.5. In 2023, we more than doubled that revenue. And I really believe with all my heart that it started, this progress, this growth, this doubling of the business started with a meeting that we had as a team. It was our quarterly or Q4 meeting in 2023. So in 2022, we did 1,217,000. In 2023, we did 2,503,000. But in Q4 of 2023, we did 1,025,000. So in Q4 alone, we almost did what we did all of 2022. I really believe it started with the message that I'm actually about to share with you. I videoed this for our students for behind the scenes footage that I was only going to share with them, but I really want to share it with you because this has been life-changing. And I really believe that this process, this way of thinking, will crack the code for you as well. It's called the $20 million identity. I'm excited for you to watch it because this was really the introduction of this identity of how we are going to really present ourselves all the time as this $20 million self today. It's funny, you'll see in the video that I actually talk about a result of $8 million. But what I realized is that if we were to have reached the $8 million, I wouldn't be thinking about $8 million, I'd be thinking about 20 million. So it went from the $8 million identity to a $20 million identity real fast. I'm just so excited to continue to refine this and perfect this process. And it's really mental work that is difficult and so worth doing. I'm so excited to show you the behind the scenes of this $20 million identity. Please subscribe to this channel because you are going to see the process of us growing into the $20 million result as we go on the journey of becoming the $20 million identity. Enjoy. What we have done is amazing in 5 years. I just want to bring to life that we are women with computers, families, an internet connection, and look at what we have done. It's freaking crazy. I always think about my mother-in-law being like, man, my day, all we could be were nurses and moms and teachers. Those were our 3 options. That's it. And I'm just so proud of what we've done. And I want to talk about something that we learn in life coach certification. Some of you might be familiar with the model. Are you guys familiar with the model? Let's just go over it and review it, okay? So in life coaching, can you see Kitty over there? I know you. So there are circumstances. Circumstances are facts, very similar to truths in our method. They have to be proven by the court of law, okay? And then there are thoughts. These thoughts are about the circumstance. So it's what are you making them mean? You can also kind of relate this to value, honestly, because it's here's the truth, and what does that mean to you? We're kind of telling people what it means to them, but in the model, it's okay, what am I making things mean? And then there's an F, which is feeling. Feelings are from the thoughts that we have of the circumstances. So you can think of feelings as the vibration in your body. When you feel angry, when you feel frustrated, when you feel anxious, you literally, if you close your eyes, you can almost feel what these things feel like. Your heart beats, your chest feels tight, and knowing what that feeling is and knowing that it's coming from the thought. And in sales, we help kind of offer these thoughts to help them feel something so that they take action. So actions are what you do and what you don't do because of how you feel.
So a lot of times people will feel stressed, and what they don't do is what they actually need to do to not feel stressed. What they do instead is watch TV, eat, do something totally different because of the feeling, because of the thought, of the circumstance. And ultimately, this gives us our result, right? Because of the things that you do and that you don't do, because of the feeling that you're having, because you're thinking of something of the circumstance. So the way we do the model in certification is we kind of just label it as CTFAR. And you'll kind of like fill things out as people are talking, or when you're kind of emptying out your own brain. You can brain dump and see, oh, there's a thought. Where's that coming from? What is that feeling? What is it making me do and not do? And what is the result? So if you were to think about our business in the last 3 years, our business about, for the most part, is done about 1.5 million in revenue. And that is fact, right? Okay. And then if you were to run a model, you would, of what's happening and what's happened over 3 years, you would see that our result is also 1.5 million, right? So we have this circumstance. All of us are thinking something, we're all feeling something, we're all doing something, which is equaling the result of 1.5 million. What is fascinating about the brain is it loves homeostasis. This right here, when we know what to expect, when we know what's predictable, it feels right. People would rather know what to predict, even though they know it might be worse, than doing something better, but it's different to give them a better life. You could put your body weight here. If people who cannot lose weight or have always been the same weight, they love homeostasis. The brain loves to be so efficient with its thoughts and with its energy. The more of the same thoughts, the better it feels. And everything really comes from this right here. And what's happening is we are all thinking something that is the exact same thing. And it's subconscious, we don't even realize it. And I'll tell you, like in this process of setting these protocols for my life, I have found that the little thoughts of like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I'll do it later. I don't have time. Like all those things were keeping me from cleaning up the stuff that really needed to be cleaned up. And they're so subtle. They sneak in there, but they are pivotal, okay? So what really needs to happen right now, we all have two kind of situations right here, okay? So we have CTFAR, CTFA, oh my gosh. I want y'all to write this down. 2. And I want you to write your name at the top right here. It's like Macy. So this is what's happening right now. 1.5 million. 1.5 million. And what needs to happen is this. 1.5 million with the results of 8 million. So this is our homeostasis, feels good, we know what's going on, we know what's happening, and this is totally different, right? The only way to get to here is for all of this to change. Now, I want you to know that from here to here is what they call, in life coach school, the river of misery. It is so uncomfortable. It is so painful. And it is why people live here for the rest of their lives, because they are not willing to go through the river of misery. Now, I want to describe what I mean when I say the river of misery, because all I'm really describing is emotions. That's it. Like yesterday, I was, family, church, hustle, bustle, and the work is like feeling the feelings and like still being able to handle your life without being like reactive and crazy, you know? And I'm like really trying to be so aware of like what, when I have these like triggers, or I don't even like to say that word triggers, but like disproportionate reactions, like what's going on? And I mean, an example, you happen to be here, but he'll just ask me a question. I'm like, why are you asking me that? Like, you should know that answer. And that is literally the most, such a disproportionate reaction to someone asking, hey, like, where's his shirt? You know? So it's like, okay, where's this coming from? Like, it's probably coming from a little like, okay, I got a big quarterly meeting tomorrow. I got a lot going on. I got like, I really want to get this right. I really want the team to feel like it was worth it. And so it's like, how can you, the work, this river of misery is really just like, hey, I have all this stuff going on. It's humming in the background, and I'm going to like keep showing up as my best self. That's all it is. But so many people aren't willing to do that. So they're like, oh, this is triggering me. Let me back up. This is triggering me. Let me come back over here because it's too hard to get over here. But once you're over here, you're over there. Like, this is your new homeostasis. And then the journey starts again and again and again. And I recently have had this experience that we're going to do together. And I want you to write $1.5 million name, Macy, and then $8 million Macy, but write your name, not mine. And I really was like, okay, so this is one person right here with one brain, with one thought, with one like situation, and this is another. And what ended up happening was like, I basically wrote this journal entry of $8 million Macy wrote a letter to $1.5 million Macy. I went to the future. I was like, girl, it has literally happened. You're not going to believe this. Literally it happened, and it's like so much more fun than you even realized. Let me tell you what you got to focus on. And I want to give you an example of other life because I wrote this and it changed everything for me. I want you to imagine being single and you desperately want to be married. How many have been there? And you're like, I'm getting older. I want to be married, but I feel like it's not going to happen. And then your married self comes back to you, okay? You're married. It's like, girl, I'm just 2 years ahead of you. You're not going to believe it. Not only have you met the guy, but you're married and you live in the home together. 2 years. And so this single girl is like, oh my gosh, what? And then the married girl is like, get it together. Quit going to bars. Quit drinking so much. Quit being on Tinder. Clean up your closet. Get your finances together. Have fun with your friends and enjoy them because you're going to be married so quick, right? And so then the single girl is like, basically starts acting married, even though she's not married because she knows she's going to be married for a fact, right? And so I kind of sat in that place of like, okay, for a fact, $8 million Macy, it is happening. And I had this like huge realization of what I was doing wrong. And I'm not going to tell you yet because I want all of us to take 10 minutes. And I want you to think about $8 million Sarah, Mallory, Brittany, Court, Sarah, Shelly, Shelby, Jordan, Kitty, And I want you to write a letter to yourself of like, girl, you have got, like, you single-handedly played a huge part in becoming this totally different person and changing all these lives. Here's what we've got to do. Okay? So everyone, take a moment.
What's amazing about this $20 million identity is that you can have any identity that you want. It could be the $1 million identity. It could be a certain goal weight identity. The process is still the same. You've got to think, feel, and act differently than you do right now and break free from how you always think, that homeostasis. You can think about your brain as like a thermostat, and any time it gets higher or lower than what it usually is at, it freaks out. It panics. It tells you to go back to where you belong, where you know that it's safe. And so it's really your job and your responsibility to be able to be aware of that and to almost talk to your brain and say, brain, I hear you. I know you're keeping me safe. I know you're trying to help me out here, and I'm going to choose to move forward anyway. And what's so beautiful about this is that over time, as you continuously do this and kind of go on your own path, in spite of what your brain is telling you, you create a new thermostat. And suddenly that $20 million identity, that certain goal weight identity, that is your new thermostat. That is your new homeostasis. When you learn this skill, you can experience it in any direction and any goal as many times as you want. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, subscribe to the channel so that you can see the $20 million identity evolve.